of course, so many amazing roles on television, including in Hannibal, The Fall. Fans of The Fall, too? Yeah. And of course, as Special Agent Dana Scully on the X-Files, please welcome Gillian Anderson!
Just you people over there. From backstage, I was like, oh, it's not that many people. It's not that many. Do you see what this is? So it's an X-Files hat, limited edition, given out by Chris, signed by Chris, David, and me. And I'm going to auction it at the end for charity.
Awesome.
Disappointment in the fact that you have to pay for it, or you know, I was going to give it out to all of you, cut it into little pieces to get Hannibal over here to.
They were thinking about how much money they have.
Slice it up, right? Yeah. Okay.
So I want to mention off the top as well. I'm just going to ask a few questions, and then Fan Expo is all about you. It's all about the fans. So I'm going to open up to the floor
it's
for
all
questions.
About me.
It's all about you. It's all about the fans and Gillian. Stefano, can you put up your hand, sir? This is Stefano in the middle aisle. So if you have a question for Gillian, which would be awesome, you can line up behind Stefano. And if you could keep it to questions about Gillian's roles, if you could refrain from asking for a selfie or a hug, that would be really, really awesome. We'd appreciate that.
Or my hand in marriage.
Or a hand in marriage. Love it. So right off the top, I want to ask you. Obviously, we're very excited with your roles in The Fall and
episodes of The X-Files, The Fall, and Hannibal. What song do you think each of your characters would sing, and why?
That's the best question I've ever heard.
Well, if there was a musical version of The X-Files, Scully would sing Jeremiah as a bullfrog, because that's all she can sing. If Bedelia were to sing, Jesus Christ, what would she sing? Is there a song called "Is That Kind of Party"? Or "Let's Get This Party Started"? Okay, yeah. Let's see Bedelia sing Pink's "Let's Get This Party Started," and then Hannibal can come in and do some dance moves. And then who is Stella? Any suggestions?
Sash.
What?
The sash. The sash.
The slash?
Sash. S-A-S-H.
The sash?
Is he speaking English? Are you speaking English?
I'm from Belfast.
So what was she? Sorry, I need to hear this.
The sash my father wore.
The sash
The sash made forward and war. That's a great song. That's exactly that. That's what Stella would sing. Is the sash made forward and war? I'm gonna put an album out.
I'm curious how Vera, who's our sign language interpreter, just signed that. Gibberish. Another question from the floor.
You've played so many big roles in TV shows. Which one of your characters would you like to meet?
Good questions today. She scares me. But maybe Miss Havisham. I did Miss Havisham for Great Expectations, and it would be kind of fascinating to meet her, and really weird. But yeah, thanks for asking.
Hello there.
Hi, I was just wondering how you feel about being such a strong, independent woman in the X-Files.
How do I feel about it?
Yeah.
Good question. I feel pretty cool about it, actually. You know, how old are you?
12.
12. Well, you know, in the olden days, in 1993, when this started, there weren't really any strong female independent characters on television, and I'm serious. I'm not exaggerating. There weren't, and so there was Baywatch. Do you know what Baywatch is? What else was there at that time? I mean, it was slim pickings as far as strong.
What about ER?
Oh, Murphy, yeah, was Murphy Brown on at that time? Oh, it is? Yeah, then I'm wrong. But there weren't that many, and there are a lot today. And so, Scully was one of those first characters, and I think women at the time appreciated that. They were like, oh, I see somebody that I actually recognize, because I don't usually look like that in a bikini. And so it started a trend, and so I feel very proud and grateful to have been one of the first strong independent female characters on television, and have since then been cast as more strong independent and even sometimes stronger and more independent characters on television than Scully was. So it's pretty cool to be part of that trend. Thank you. Pretty strong independent female for getting up there in front of 8,000 people to ask that question, I would say. As a 13-year-old.
Hey there.
Hi.
Still can't see.
Not missing much.
Oh, don't say that.
Sorry.
You're beautiful.
Okay, now that everybody's eyes are on me. I was wondering, because you did bring a lot to Scully, like even at the very beginning of the series, Scully was walking behind Mulder, and then you were instrumental in making her walk beside him. So my question was, do you think there would be a Stella Gibson on today if it wasn't for the Scully effect?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I'd have to imagine that at some point somebody else would have done it along the way. Somebody would have seen the gap and the need. So it's possible, but I can definitely see the trajectory there. But also, Alan, the writer of The Fall, which is where Stella Gibson resides, wrote that with me in mind, and had I not done the X-Files, he probably wouldn't have written it with me in mind, so I guess the answer would be no. Oh, but you know what? New York's not that far from Toronto. I know that for a fact in my small brain, and there are still tickets available. So please come. It's a good show.
Hi. I was just wondering, whose idea was it to bring the X-Files back, and how did you react when you found out, and what was it like going back there after so many years?
Well, it wasn't like they said it's coming back and you're coming with us, and I went, oh, okay. It was kind of like they said, we're thinking about this, and my reaction was, oh man, what a bad idea. And initially, because my experience of doing the X-Files was doing 24 episodes, which in my current life living in the UK with 3 children is not a doable thing. I mean, in those days, that took us 9.5 months a year, and this year, our episodes took longer to shoot individually. So we did 6 episodes in 3 months. So what if we did 24, that would have been a whole year, which is just not possible. My initial reaction, also because I was doing a lot of TV at the time, and I like to shake it up a bit with theater and film. And then when I realized, or they said that it could be a small amount, and also at the time when we were starting to talk about it, was at the very beginning of networks like Fox opening their minds to the idea of doing shorter amounts. even at the time when I was doing, I did Crisis, which was, I don't know, 12 or 13 on NBC, that was quite a big leap for them to make, to just do 12 or 13 at that time, and that was only a couple years ago. So it's a whole new idea for networks to do short stacks. And so it wasn't until they could agree to do that either that either David or I could commit to it with both of our other commitments. So, yeah, that's my answer. Thank you.
With the original 9-season run, with those longer seasons in terms of number of episodes, X-Files did a great job of balancing the episodic elements with the longer serialized arcs. So this mini-series that we're going to get, these 6 episodes, is it one continuous story in terms of a serialized arc through 6 episodes?
It is not. It is exactly what you used to get, which is there is a couple of comedic episodes, there is a couple Monster of the Week episodes, and there are a couple of mythological, mythology, thank you, mythology episodes.
And were you happy about that it was going to retain that kind of DNA of the original in terms of the balance?
Extremely, yeah. I mean, at the beginning I was thinking, you know, what is it that we're putting out here? Because we were at the forefront of new TV back then, and it was the first series that was, you know, lit by flashlight. And it was the first, we were a lot of first, having that much money up on the screen, those big production values on the screen, we were the beginning of that. And so did that mean that what was expected of us was to come back and match that and basically be the new version of how TV should be today? And so when the first episode wasn't that, my first reaction was, man, is this enough? And then the expert in all things, Simon Pegg, said to me, no, that what they want is exactly what they got to begin with. It's like comfort food. They want what you originally gave them, and that will be enough. And that's what you're going to get. Exactly, and I think in all respects. So I think hopefully you guys will be happy, because that's what it's all about, right? It's making you happy. Yes. Yeah.
Can't wait. Hello there.
Hi. So everyone knows that your favorite episode of the X-Files is Bad Blood. And I was
Can I tell you something? Sorry to interrupt. I'll get it out, because I'm sure you're nervous to ask a question, and then I'll interrupt you afterwards.
I was wondering if you're familiar with Taylor Swift's song Bad Blood.
Oh.
And if you think it's worthy of sharing the same title as your favorite episode.
I don't know that song. Would anybody like to sing it for me? Oh, come on.
Taylor Swift is here.
That was good. But no. Just because it's not really appropriate for the episode, right? It needs to be Shaft. That needs to be the soundtrack. I mean, so I watched it again recently because I thought, okay, I keep leaving my kids in London to go and shoot this thing in Vancouver, and they have no idea what it is that I'm doing. And so I thought, well, what episode could I show them that is even remotely appropriate in any way, shape, or form as a almost 7 and almost 9-year-old? And I thought, ironically, that Bad Blood would be good. Nightmare Week. That kid with the green eyes, and my 6-year-old, every time my 8-year-old turned the corner, he was like, like that. And the whole thing of him, like, he jumped like a squirrel across the bed. Oh my God. So now that, like, I've literally tormented them. They are not a fan of the X-Files. They will be 21 and 24 by the time they watch the series again. Completely backfired. Oh my God, they would not shut up, and of course they told their dad that I showed them. Nightmare. Anyway, that's my story about Evelyn.
Still your favorite episode?
It's still my favorite episode.
Hi. I was just wondering if you feel that the strong feminist characters that you've played, mainly Stella Gibson, influenced how you played or characterized Blanche?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I wanted to do Blanche since I was 16 years old. And so it was very much a dream come true after 30 years of knowing that I wanted to play her. And as much as I felt like I resonated with her inside, I'd never actually studied her and studied the play before. And so when we started rehearsals for that, it was important to me that I let go of all my preconceptions about who she was and what the play should be, and et cetera, et cetera. There was only one thing that there were two things that I really cared about, having helped put the production together, and one was that it be in the round, and the other that it be in the summertime, because I wanted the audience to feel the heat that we would feel in New Orleans. And believe me, both those things happen. So in starting 100% from scratch, as much as one can, really let the director educate me about, and all of us, about the play and the history and the characters and the family and the climate at the time, the political climate, the social climate, the genius of Tennessee Williams and the threads that he weaves in his material. And I feel like she was very much born out of a new idea, not necessarily influenced by, but by the same token, I am me, I am a feminist, and I am, I can't not inject an aspect of that into my version of her, but I don't think that I ever sat on the outside and thought, this is how it needs to be, because in the past she was portrayed in a different way. It was very much an organic and pure path to find her. But obviously, it's me doing it, so that has something to do with it. But thank you.
Just a quick follow-up to that. I've read that you used to be really into punk music and punk rock. I also love punk, and I've always wanted to ask you whether or not your interest in punk and that genre of music kind of informed your ethos and your feminism and kind of what you brought to roles as an actor.
Well, I think that I have an inbuilt intolerance for hypocrisy. And there is an element of that in anarchy and in the punk movement, and there's an element of that in feminism, and not just feminism, just people's desire for equality, whether it's race equality or whether it's female equality or pay equality. It is. It's about the intolerance for what should not be going on in the moment, and so I think that's a lot of what the current feminist movement is about. It's like, enough already. We've been talking about this for so long. We got to do some things to get things done. I mean, the fact that the Equal Rights Amendment hasn't even been passed, even though it's been, it's all of that stuff. So I'm not, I talk about it when I'm asked about it. I don't preach about it. I talk about it when, specifically in relation to Stella, because it's often a lot of the journalists want to address that issue. But it's a human issue. It is a human issue, equality on this planet. Whether you're Aboriginals, in Brazil fighting for your piece of forest or whatever it is, it's important and vital to humanity existing on this planet. as one, as a human race. And so I feel strongly about that, clearly.